So first mission accomplished, I didn't fall up the stairs. I got full transparency. I haven't been up on a stage in quite some while. And we have folks that actually do this as part of our marketing team. And no one could be here, shockingly, given the venue and everything else that went along with it. So I get the duty, and I'm excited to do it, to be honest with you, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. So first off, fake news. That will not be the topic of the presentation. I'm going to do something a little bit different. Before I do that, though, this is my first email insider. This conference is awesome. Not just because it's at Pinehurst and I got to play number 2 and made a birdie on number 18 and all of that went along with it, but I love this kind of a setting. To me, NRF and some of these big ones, they're brutal. I'm too old for that crap, to be honest with you. I like this. I like being around people. I like the openness of it. It is incredibly beneficial to me in my role to hear you all. I think I'm going to get a lot of validation in related to the topic that I'm going to cover today. So it's been awesome, and it's been really great to meet many of the folks in the room already. So. Yeah, I'm not doing that. And the reason I'm not doing that is because I asked for content because I didn't want to do it because I have enough to do in my regular job. And so I was provided this wonderful deck. And then I realized I'm going to be at the tail end of this thing. I'm basically the last vendor between you and getting out of here. And so then the content was fine, but I deemed it as being 10 minutes of your life you'll never get back. So I scrapped it, right? And so I'm going to do something a little bit different. I hope you like it. I hope you find some value in it. When I told my boss what I wanted to do, the original theme was going to be like, have you all ever wondered what it's like to sell you? And I said it like that. And he said, you can't do that because folks might misinterpret what you're about to say. So we changed it into help me help you, right? So basically, what I would like to do is just share some perspective of somebody who I'm in the enterprise sales space. I've been doing it for a while. I'll talk a little bit about myself in a bit. But I have a lot of experience selling into a lot of different brands. And so I want to share with you some of the perspectives, some of the challenges that I see throughout the buying and process with the goal that maybe collaboratively we can make things a little bit better for you and for me. People helping people. Anybody know that movie? We won't talk about the scene that it is, but people helping people. Yeah. So just from a credibility standpoint, so for those of you who don't know Emarsys, we're a very big brand actually overseas. We've been around in the U.S. for about 4 years right now, but we work with 2,000 or so customers. We're having great growth in the United States, adding some really great logos. You all were. So my favorite new client, TaylorMade, here this week. Sale of a career when you're a golfer and you play their equipment, and next thing you know, they're a client. And we interact with a lot of really great brands. Personally, I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and I've always been in the enterprise space. So I have the benefit of being able to work with some of the best minds and brightest people in the industry. So. Yeah, buzz. So I'm going to tell you about Emarsys. Who is Emarsys? It's my dreaded question, to be honest with you, unless somebody's in the space, because I don't know what acronym to use. CDP, ESP on steroids. When I'm among my family and friends, they say, "What do you do?" I sell software. But when I talk to folks like you, what we do is we're more of a retention-focused marketing company. So at our core, we have a CDP. We're really good at working with data. We're a data company. We provide that data back to our clients so that they can gain insights from it, make it actionable, and execute hyper-personalized marketing using AI across all channels. So you see what I did there? I used every buzzword that's on that slide, right? So this is one of the challenges, right? I'm just in full candor as being somebody who sells into you all. I realize that differentiation is very difficult. Especially early in the sales process. Why should I talk to Anthony? Why should or anybody else? But then on your side, Veronica from DraftKings said one of the first things she said. Lie number one, that she's an email marketer. And one of the common themes that I've heard today is related to omnichannel, meaning that email's not just an email anymore. So email's touching everything. Even the email bids that we work on, they're never just email. But it also creates a lot of challenges because we're interacting with a lot of folks, and often it's very siloed. Siloed in terms of the data, but also siloed in terms of how the teams approach a deal. And we get a lot of outcomes of that, which are not great. By the way, that is me. Yep. No. But some of the results of trying to work with very siloed teams that aren't really communicating is frustration on their side and on our side. I can tell you right now, I'm in 2 deals where my biggest competition is not going to be my competitors. It's going to be nothing's going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because the email person wants to do something. The IT person thinks they need a CDP, which they don't. I'm in an email bid, and they're asking me for SMS pricing and all of this other stuff, and it becomes very difficult. And oftentimes we see RFPs that stall, and they stall so long that you have to renew with your vendor, and nothing happens. Other times we're outside of the RFP process. The project stalls before it just dies on the vine, and it's frustrating for everybody where nothing happens. But then there's also the challenge where you make a decision. And again, I say, shiny object syndrome. CDP is the new one. When I came here, we did not call ourselves a CDP, full transparency. And there's companies out there that are actual CDPs. It's all that they do. But the bottom line is that we now call ourselves a CDP because CDP is a new shiny object. So, very often we work with organizations that think they need to buy the latest marketing technology because it is the latest marketing technology, but it's not the right decision for them. And when that happens, implementations are a disaster. I'm sure no one's ever experienced that here. But the adoption gap. So Marion's mentioned this yesterday. This is the biggest problem where somebody actually sells something to you. But very often it could be difficult to actually fully utilize that technology. And so at Emarsys, we refer to it the adoption gaps. Companies go out, they buy technology or multiple technologies. They're trained to a certain degree, but they're not fully up and running or fully efficient. And you have this lag in time where you're utilizing only a very small percentage of what the platform is actually capable of. So enough of my gripe session. One of the ways that we combat this, or one of the tactics that I like to use, is what we call a transform workshop. I stole this from our strategy guys. And so it's not my intent to pitch a transform to you, but I love going through the process of it because for me as a salesperson, it changes the dynamic completely. I don't like to sell things. I hate to be in RFPs which are just pure feature functionality discussions. I like to sell solutions, and that's what this is about. So in the ideal, and the buying process is so much better because when I go back to Omnichannel and again talking about the 2 deals that I'm working on right now, the biggest problem I have is that there's probably 8 people that are involved in the buying decision. I know they're not going to get on the same page. There's no one person that owns it, right? So everybody's got all of their different input, and there's a good chance they're going to get stalled. If I can sell a transform into there, we could become the arbiter of truth. We could become Switzerland. We could become the consultants. We could become the mediator. But we ideally can gather all of the information, help them to develop a roadmap or at least decide on what their future vision is, bump that up against what they're doing today, gauge their operational readiness. One of the consistent themes I've heard here is small teams, lots of stuff. But ideally, we're able to make a recommendation on what they should or shouldn't buy at what timelines in a way that's very solution-focused versus feature functionality, throw a price out there, discount it, yay, we won. So that whether or not you do that process through Emarsys or a third-party consultant or you do it internally, I will end by saying that process for the buyer or for the vendor is it really helps us to help you guys. So I hope that was helpful. I thank everybody. Have a good trip home. Thanks.